So we are back. Chest, shoulders, triceps, and calves. It's crazy how fast time goes, but just like that, we are back to push and calves. I don't know if those go together, but that's just how I do it. Got a different hat today, so I'm liking this one better. My head does look like a goddamn cone, but you know what? Cone's not looking too bad, so I'm gonna just kind of warm up with I'm gonna stick with this incline. I'm liking it. I'm gonna warm up with 30s and just gonna go from there. I got my salt. I got my hostility before the workout. I told myself that I was only gonna take the pre-workout on leg days only, but I definitely lied to myself because it's in the system at the moment, kicking in. Heavy set here at the 75 is gonna go, but you just gotta stay confident before the set happens, because you just never know how it's gonna go. So always stay optimistic, even if you feel like total dog shit. You just gotta convince yourself that you're gonna get a certain number of reps. So all know how important music choice is when it comes to your heavy sets. So right now I got Paparazzi playing by Lady Gaga. Now I don't know if that's weird or not, but that's just what I do to get myself into that next realm to get these things up for as many reps as I can fucking do. So that is definitely not 15. I'm not really sure where I get that number from or how I thought that was even possible, but yeah. Shoot for the stars, fucking miss. Same amount as last week, but I'm gonna have to replay that to see what I got. I feel like I had better control if I did the same amount, so can't ask more for that, especially when I'm dieting. So obviously when you're dieting, it's gonna be hard to keep your strength or increase your strength, but you wanna try and stick to the same workout routine, the same amount of sets, same intensity for the most part as you're dieting down body weight. The same thing that built the muscle tissue in the first place is what's gonna keep it. So in order to stimulate the same amount as you did when you're in a surplus or maintaining, let's say, you're gonna have to do the same weights or something close to the same weight. So you might want to change, you might feel like you want to change your workout and do more sets maybe because you're not getting as much of a pump, but at least for what I think, it's only going to make it harder to recover. And you're in a dieting phase, you're not trying to build muscle tissue. So the idea is to try and just reserve the tissue that you built in the time that you weren't in a deficit. Hopefully you're not in a deficit. Hopefully you're not in a deficit all year. Increase the angle here and see what I can do with the 65s. So the good news is that was 12 reps. Same thing as last week, but I felt like I had a little bit more control. Maybe I went a little bit deeper. I didn't try to. I just like, sometimes you get into the zone and you just try to like, you almost want to like rip your pec off the bone, you know, at the bottom. Like it feels terrible, but it feels so good at the same time. So maybe that's just a me thing, but I feel like most lifters kind of feel like that too. They just want to get like a huge stretch and feel like their pec is gonna fucking separate from the bone, you know? Obviously the goal is not to rip it off the bone, but if you were to mimic the same angle, the this peg at the bottom was on 30 degrees, which is probably, I mean, it's 2 notches up on this incline, but if you're training at like an LA or something, where it's like a bolt to pull it, I'd probably pull it like 2 notches above flat, maybe 3. And then the second angle that I'm about to do, it's a 45-degree angle. It looks steeper, but it says 45, so I'm gonna trust that. So when I first do the set, like in the beginning, I'm trying to hold the dumbbell directly in the middle. Because as you saw, as I pressed the last rep, I think it was the right one or the left, I don't know. But it started to cave in a little bit because I wasn't perfectly in the middle of the dumbbell. It's hard to get it set right in the middle, but you just gotta try and not be too high up on the dumbbell. It's gonna, you know, go that way. And if you're too far down in the dumbbell, then once you kick it up, it's gonna go in like that, and you're gonna be fighting it the exact, or you're gonna be fighting it the whole time. So I guess that would be the con of a dumbbell press versus a machine, or like a Smith machine. Or even like a free weight bench, is that you don't really have to worry about grabbing perfectly in the middle, or not as much as a dumbbell press. Because if it's not even here, you're gonna fucking feel it. And it might ruin your set potentially. And when you only have a couple sets, at least for me, to get the job done, you need every set to be like maximized. So on both sets, got a big pump. Might, I don't know what I'm gonna do next. Either a dip or a push down. I kind of like mix it up here and there. And you'll know if you're not recovering. You'll probably get sick because your immune system is battling for its life. Probably need to recover a little bit more. So when I'm in this position, I'm trying to bring my chest to the dumbbell. I'm not necessarily trying to bring the dumbbell to my chest. So right at the top here, I'm already trying to bring my chest to the dumbbell. And then once I begin, I'm trying to bring my chest higher and higher. And I'm trying to let my chest open up like a door. And then as I come back up, the first movement is bringing my shoulders, like the center of my shoulders towards my spine. So I'm thinking like that. It would almost look like my shoulder width gets smaller as I press. So I'm not just pressing, I'm actually trying to bring my shoulders, my bicep to my pec as I'm pressing. So once I'm here, I'm coming down, resisting with my chest, feeling the stretch on outer pec, mid pec, upper, here, everywhere. And then I'm firing with that movement that I just talked about. So, done there. Once you're in and you do a couple reps, it's not gonna roll on your arm. Now, I'm not really tracking how many reps I'm getting on this. I just know if I go crazy that I'm gonna stimulate the muscle. So I'm not gonna overthink it and be like, oh, I did 8.3 this time and I did 8 last week. I'm just going crazy. And then if I can't raise my shoulders at the end, then job done. Change the song, by the way. I didn't listen to Paparazzi. I listened to Replay. So you should know your shoulders are super fatigued when you go to lift them like this and like barely can. Obviously that's common sense, but it's a good tool to use to know if your shoulders are fried or not. So I just did one set there, all out, just like throwing it at the end. I don't even know what I'm doing at this point. I just know I still feel it here. So if you still feel it there, just keep moving it. And then I tried to do like a 2-second isometric hold at the end. And then I just felt like my shoulders were pretty much left earth. They're in like space, just floating around on a fucking satellite. And then once they're recharged up there, they come back down. And they fucking go back on my shoulders. Or whatever, my body. Let's see if this looks good. It looks like shit. Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, it's pretty good actually. I'm getting a little bit leaner. I'm just starting to pop a little bit. Deeper canal in the chest. Shoulders are popping. Trap. And it makes your head look smaller too. So here's the pro of getting a haircut. You get a haircut, your body looks bigger. So that's what I think at least. You might think that I'm as white as one can be. And you're not too far off. If I had a little tan, I would definitely look better. Here on Long Island, we get a couple months of hot weather, and then it's right back to goddamn Antarctica pretty much. But you know what? Last couple years, it's definitely not as cold as it used to be. We used to get like 2-foot snowstorms a couple times a winter. Now we rarely get that. I'm gonna do one warm up on this with 10 plates and then go off from there. Oh yeah. Let it come up a little bit. It's fine. As in like you can let it go forward a little bit. But then once you drive back down, you should try and push it towards your hips. Because the tricep not only extends the elbow, but it extends the shoulder a bit. At least to fully shorten the tricep. To fully lengthen the tricep, you'd want your arm overhead like a skull crusher, or completely overhead like a French press or overhead extension, whatever you want to call it. on. Whew. The skull crusher, all out. See how it goes. As many as you could do, full reps, and then 75% reps, and then 50% reps. As many as you got. So that was as many as I got there. Just kind of like bounced them out. It is borderline not controlled, but I still feel a ton of tension being driven into my elbow, into my armpit region. So I'm cool with that. And I feel like at the top, like once I get out of this position and I get to like here, I kind of feel like I lose like that tricep only tension. And I feel like I rotate my elbows a little bit and use my chest to get it up for that last like 25%. So what I do is I kind of throw it up to here, do a little squeeze contraction like right there, and then I come right back down. I'm gonna do 2 warm-ups on this calf raise here. 1 plate, 2 plate, and then probably 2 plate and a 35. We'll see when we get there. And I don't think you necessarily have to get a crazy stretch or a crazy contraction. As long as you're moving in like an 80% range and you have a huge pump in your calf after, and you're doing anywhere from like 10 to 20 reps, I mean, I think that's pretty much the gist of how to get a bigger muscle. So sometimes I look out the window, just in between sets, just to kind of see if I'm missing anything. Not that I have FOMO, but well, I feel like most of us have a little bit of FOMO in us. We just kind of push it down and control it a little bit, you know? You gotta get dopamine from things that have a positive effect on you, like training. Come on. Oh. Oh my God. God damn it, that hurt. So to me, this is, or I mean, I guess if you want to bring in a scientific reasoning, this is more of a soleus exercise, which is the muscle under your gastrocnemius. You train your soleus more, at least if we're going to bring in this science reasoning, when your knee is bent, because there's not as much of a stretch on the gastrocnemius. So if you want to do a gastrocnemius exercise for the calves, it's either going to be standing calf raise on a Smith machine, the standing calf raise machine, a donkey calf raise or like a leg press calf raise, which is what I'm probably gonna go do now. So I don't think it matters too much whether you do the seated calf first or the standing or the leg press calf, whatever. Just train both of them hard, and then hopefully your calves grow. I mean, you gotta hit the muscle from both angles, which I have not been doing for sure. I was only doing the seated, but I think for now I'm gonna have to do seated and standing or straight leg version to maximize the growth potential. And for people who have small calves, not saying I have big calves, but if you wanna make them grow, you have to train them. First off, they're not gonna grow on their own. But it's like every other muscle. Train it in good bodybuilding rep ranges and train it hard. Oh, holy shit. Oh, like your feet have to be burning. So me and my barber today had an absolutely hilarious conversation. Just like every barber session. Anyone knows, any bro out there knows the barber talk is absolutely unique and hilarious and one not to miss. We talked about what would be like a cooler way to pick up like a chick, you know? If you pulled up in, let's say you were on like a beach and a horse came by and you like, let's say like you whistled and your horse came to you and you like hopped on your horse and you like rode off. Like, would that be cooler? Or would it be cooler if a dolphin pulled up and you like hopped on your dolphin and like rode off, you know? Maybe even went under the water like a goddamn submarine and was like hanging onto the fin. So that is the conversation we had today with my barber. Me and my barber. I've been going to the same barber for probably like 7 years. Same guy. And is it just me, or does your barber never age? I feel like the guy doesn't fucking age. Like, he just looks the same. You know? I wonder what he thinks about me. You know? But he did a good job. A little fade. The joke is that every time I tell him to do my eyebrows or something, I'm like, yeah, just shave them off. Just shave them off. Who really needs them? It's just hair. You know? It's kind of funny because we get these haircuts just to let it grow out again. You know? Be easier just to have no hair. Not that I would want that, but sometimes I think, like, you know, every single haircut you get, the hair just goes back to normal. And you gotta go get another haircut, you know? But I kind of look forward to the haircuts. Haircuts are like, I don't know if it's the haircut or just the barber talk or a mixture of both or just the vibe and the vibe, whatever that word even means, you know? People use that word so much now. I don't even like using it. I feel like a cringy person just saying the word. I've got a couple more shirts coming from Hostile for Christmas. I do know that. I did try them on. I wouldn't say it ruined the Christmas spirit to try it on, but let's just say I'm definitely excited to be wearing my new body bag from Hostile. It's pretty sick. I feel like there's two types of lifters. The ones that want to show off and be naked in the gym. Then there's the guys who want to be covered up You know what? Maybe there's like multiple categories. I think there's more than two. But I think the basics are the guy who wants to be naked and have a stringer that, I mean, if we're gonna call that even a piece of clothing, I guess we will, but pretty much no clothing on the upper torso. And then we have the other end of the spectrum. You know, there's like two spectrums. And then there's like some couple categories. It's like a timeline, you know? Like this, like World War I happened here. And then present. So if we're gonna do a timeline with a couple lines in the middle, it's gonna be far end to the left, it's gonna be the naked people who like to be completely exposed in the gym, then the other end who want to wear sweatpants and a big shirt or a sweatshirt in the gym. But there's also a couple other categories. You got the guys who are somewhere in the middle who wear the baggy stuff, but then they take it off once they get a pump. Then you got the guys who wear the super short shorts. I'm like low-key part of that gang, and I'm also, well, I'm not part of a gang, but you know what I mean. I'm also a part of the crew, whatever you want to call it, who wears the long, or the more baggy pants and the baggy shirt. But, I don't know, I just kind of wear whatever, you know? I mean, I can't say I wear whatever because I literally wear the same shit every single day. That's just who I am, man. I don't know. Just wear the same shit. It's easier. I feel like if you have too much stuff, you have less stuff, if that makes sense. Because your standard for having stuff keeps going up. So if I have 20 cars, I feel like I don't have enough. If I have one car, I'm happy with it. One car. I have a car, you know? So, speaking of my car, I got low tire pressure. And I've had it for like 2 weeks and I still haven't fixed it. So, I'm definitely gonna do that. Because I think it can like fuck up my rim. But, whatever. I don't know what's gonna happen. So let's talk about the workout for a second. The thing we're here to talk about. I did the incline dumbbell press. I think I'm going to switch that out for a Smith machine press next week. There's there's no scientific reasoning really for me. I'm sure there is a little bit, but it's not really a big factor. I'm just doing it because I want to kind of like switch it up and it keeps it interesting. As long as I destroy my chest, I'm fine, you know? But I want to do it on, it's either a combination of flies and pressing. I don't think I would ever do a workout where it's just flies, but I would do a workout where it's just pressing, which is what I've been doing. I feel like you can't, or you shouldn't go away from those like main heavy compound lifts. I feel like that's a big nervous system stimulation. And you know, the nervous system controls the muscles, so it tells it to contract. So if your nervous system is fried out from overtraining, let's say, doing too much, then your muscles aren't going to fire properly. And I think a good sign to know if your like nervous system is kind of beat is you kind of just feel you just don't want to go to the gym. For someone that is an absolute obsessive person about the gym. If you just don't want to go because you don't want to go, that's different. But if you're like an animal in the gym and you love this shit and you don't want to go, and you've been killing it for like like a while, maybe you gotta just ease off the gas for a second and let yourself fully recover. And you might still be progressing, but maybe you'd be progressing more. So you don't really know. The idea is to progress. So if you're progressing, great. If you're not, then you're gonna have to change something up and see what the reasoning is. Training too much, not training enough. I mean, if you're not training enough, that's probably catered towards the person who's not an extreme obsessive lifter, you know? If you're an obsessive lifter, I would say you're probably overdoing it, not underdoing it. I think it's pretty hard to be a guy who underdoes it and is addicted to the gym. I just don't really see that being a case for most people, for most hardcore obsessive lifters. Now, if you're on the other side, like I was just talking about, then you gotta push harder. The main ingredient in all this is to train to failure or very close to failure. An analogy that I like to use is, imagine there's men, little men in the chest working on your muscle, rebuilding it, repairing it, whatever. Let's say 10 reps is what you could do on the machine press or dumbbell press, whatever, any press, doesn't even matter, any exercise. 10 reps, 10 is the ultimate hardest rep possible. You can barely get it. That is the failure rep. Then every rep leading up to that is becoming harder and harder. And imagine there's like ropes in the muscle. The fibers are like rope. And the more tension with each rep, because you got to create more force to get this to go, then the rope is going to start to get pulled and have more tension ran through it. And by the last rep, there's so much tension that the rope begins to rip a little bit. And ripping means these little micro tears that you might not see or feel during. But you know you get a huge pump after and you're sore the next day. So that's a side effect, I think, of this muscle repair needed. So then the little men go in and they say, oh shit, we got to repair this and build it stronger for next week. Because if I don't, I might die. Because it wants to protect and survive from what you're doing. It doesn't really know what's happening. It knows you're running from a lion. It wants to be stronger and adapt. Body is, if you put enough stress under it, it will adapt. If you have the correct environment, meaning proper sleep and enough food. So, and stress doesn't mean, obviously this is a big stress in someone's day, but you gotta try and regulate your stress from outside life. Some of us have more stressful jobs than others, but if you're working a labor job, then maybe you can't train as often as someone who's just working like a desk job or is just going to school. They're not like on their feet a lot or whatever. Or I guess you could be on your feet a lot if you're going to school, but you know what I'm saying. So you have to regulate your stress and try and remain calm for the most part of the hours of the day besides your workout. Your workout is your time to be super stressed out. When it comes to physical stress, I guess there might be some anxiety before sets and stuff, but and being nervous, but that's just part of it. So I did 75s for 12. That was really good. And then I did 65s for like 8 or whatever. And then I did the triceps. Triceps were super pumped. Did some posing. Did the side lateral machine. The side lateral machine, man, that thing is just, it's absolutely crazy, I think. When it comes to just tension ran through the shoulders. Oh my God, once you do those full reps and then once you get into the partials, oh, that's where the set starts, man. I mean, just banging them out. I don't even know. I mean, just if your head's moving back, whatever. I mean, just power through those partials. You could even bounce it on yourself. Just hammer it, man. If you feel it in your shoulders, you'll be all right. It's not that dangerous of an exercise. You're not going to hurt yourself. If you're doing a squat, I wouldn't bounce out of the bottom 10 times for partials. I mean, that's way more dangerous than a machine. So, if you don't have the machine, then either a cable side lateral or a dumbbell side lateral would probably work fine. I don't think it's really that big of a deal. As long as you train hard and you move your arm in this position or somewhere in this position, then I think you'll be fine, man. You got the bars going. My diet's going well. I think I'm on day like 9 or 10. Body weight's coming down. No, I don't even know if it is, but I just know it is. I'm not tracking it because it kind of messes with my head a little bit. I'm sure everyone knows what I'm talking about. So I'm going to try and not weigh myself and just go by visuals. And I can see by the most muscular I did, I'm tightening up a little bit. Now, I definitely look very white, but, I mean, whatever. Abs are coming in a little bit. There's more of a canal in the chest. A little bit more. There's not that much separation within the shoulder and the pec, but I think it's coming together. So, but I feel like the traps were like round. It felt good. Maybe I'm completely wrong. I looked at the video, it looks good. But, I don't know. Maybe once I upload it, it's gonna look like total shit. If it does, then it's just gonna give me more reasoning to train harder. So, I think that's about it. I said I was gonna take 2 days off after legs to myself, and I completely lied again. I just can't seem to do it. So, I feel like I'm rested. So, took 1 day off, and then Thursday is tomorrow. I'll take off Thursday, Friday, maybe. I don't know. I'd be lying if I even said exactly what I'm gonna do, because I don't know. I'm gonna train back, biceps, rear delts on either Friday or Saturday. So I'm just gonna chill, edit this, post this later today, and that's about it.